the kind who wear a tie. Button up from 9 to 5. I tried that life but said goodbye. I'm not always polite, but I get the job done. Who says the world can never be fun? I'm simply unprofessional. Simply unprofessional. Yeah. Yeah. I'm unprofessional.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Simply Unprofessional. I'm your host, Webby. Joining me tonight, we got Rob.
Hey, everybody, it's Rob.
So, Devin should be joining us at some point. He said 4. It's almost 4:30. He also started off by saying 3. So, I just decided, we're not going to wait forever. So, and I apologize if my mic, I don't know, for some reason it seems like when I'm talking, my mic's not activating on Discord.
Looking like it to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all the time. It's every just so often. Like when I did the during the intro, it didn't seem to pick up, but I don't know. Anyway, today's episode is going to be pretty laid back. We're just going to be discussing, because next month is October. And every October we do spooky SU type stuff that leads up to the Holloween stream that we do for charity. We usually do that the last weekend in October. And that, of course, is the kickoff to our Christmas stream that we do annually the first weekend in December. So, today we're just going to be kind of discussing and mulling over some ideas for things to do for October, and to kind of get a sense of what our October SU schedule is going to be like. In the past, we've usually done some sort of movie, horror movies, etc., whether it be 1 or 2 each week, and then we just kind of discuss them, because I'm not big into horror stuff, so October's the time of year where everybody can recommend these things, and it gets me to have to watch these things, and then I'm usually scarred for however long, depending on what it is that we watch, because like different horror movies affect me differently too. I don't like the feeling of being scared regardless, but like, I don't know, like a few years ago we did like the original Friday the 13th. Didn't really bother me. We did the original Halloween that I'd never seen before. I actually kind of liked it. Then I think last year we did the year before, we did the Halloween remake, or not remake, it was more of a continuation. So it was technically like the second Halloween, because it was supposed to be like 40 years after or whatever. I found myself rooting for Michael Myers the whole fucking movie. Like, I was into it. It was a good movie. So it's very, very seldom will you ever find any type of horror-esque thing that I'm into. But like, for instance, the movie 13 Ghosts, right? There's a scene where one of the ghosts' head is trapped in a cage, and she comes running at the camera. That freaked me out. There's another ghost who, like, apparently she died in a bathtub. So like, there's a scene where you see the ghost in the bathtub, and like, it's those types of things that really freak me out. Like, I'll get up in the middle of the night and I'll go take a piss, and like, I'll just look to the left at the bathtub in our bathroom, and it's like I visualize that scene, and it's like, nope, I'm not going to do this again. I'm just going to go straight back to bed, and then I'll start walking back to my bedroom. I'll see how fucking dark it is in my room, and I'll be like, you know what? I think I'll just play a game on the computer at 4 o'clock in the morning, I guess. I see a muted Avelos. Avelos, welcome to SU this week.
I have invaded. Hello.
Hey, everybody's welcome. In fact, are you a fan of horror stuff, like movies,
Oh,
etc.?
sir, I live for horror. It's when I saw the proverbial bat signal go out of like horror stuff, I'm like, I'm coming. So
Hey, if you have any type of recommendations, for whether it be movies or, I can't promise that I'll sit through an entire TV series, for a week to talk about on SU, but I'll at least sit there and watch the first couple episodes or something. Um, that's why I think we've usually stuck to movies, but I'm willing to do like, you know, a few episodes of a TV show as long as it's not too creepy. I mean, do you have any type of suggestions as for things that we could talk about, next month? Also, any type of listeners out there, if you want to write me suggestions, a lot of you know how to contact me either on Discord or Facebook. You can also message the Simply Unprofessional Facebook and just post on the timeline there, and any of our Twitters, really. But, like, hey, any type of suggestions we'll take into consideration. That's kind of what we're doing today, is just brainstorming stuff. And then we'll probably end up sitting down by next week and figuring out an actual schedule for next month, because we still have one more week before October anyway. So
okay. I mean, well, first off, it would be remiss of you to not do the iconic Hocus Pocus 2, which has been years in the making, which I know necessarily isn't horror-esque, but it very is associated to the Halloween season in October. It comes out at the end of this month. So
at the end of September?
The end of September, September 30th. So probably following Disney's big thing where they play, Hocus Pocus all month long.
Hocus Pocus 2.
And it does have the original Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy. They're back again. So obviously they're much older than, 30 years ago when Hocus Pocus was made, or 20 or something.
Right.
So I would say that's a good entry.
That's a good suggestion from you, because it's because of you that I actually, within like the last, I don't remember when it was that me and you talked about this, but you're the reason I ended up watching the first Hocus Pocus movie, because I had never seen it. I knew a lot about it, pictures and people talking about it, but I mean, Halloween's never really been my cup of tea. Usually, like, I have to be like poked and prodded to do stuff for Halloween. Like, I used to go to an annual Halloween party, but I have to be like kind of directed in those directions, if that makes sense. And it's because of you that I ended up watching the first Hocus Pocus movie, which I enjoyed. I really liked I don't remember his name, Billy, maybe, the zombie.
Oh, yeah, the lover that was with the main sister, Bette Midler's character, but then cheated on her with her younger sister, the pretty one.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, it adds a lot of it did what old Disney did, and it adds the adult layers there for the adults watching who are like, ha 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 ha, but all the kids are like, zombie, so like they have no idea.
Right.
And it's that Disney whatever. But yeah, I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it. I would check it out. From what I understand, it's like more, it's produced into more mainstream, because from what I've gathered and whatever, it's a new story. There's not anything from there. There's like connections to the old one, obviously, but they're amping up and being more inclusive. So inclusivity is big in it. Like, I believe there are a few drag performers that are in it. So like in the actual movie, like filmed it are by name and credit. So like overall, it's a good thing to watch. But however, if I wanted to recommend something else, maybe not a movie, but it's definitely a Netflix series called Black Summer, I think. I'm looking on Netflix now to confirm for myself, because I watched it so long ago, but essentially it's a prequel to some really big horror franchise. I think it's like not 28 Days Later, but something like that. And it's it is episodic, but it's the episode is split between, like, the first episode you go between like 7 people's story, and it's not like The Walking Dead where you're on season 37 and not everybody's dead yet. So it kind of like tells their story, so it's really good. I would recommend that. and it's something you can maybe build in like an episode or so a week.
Okay. And that's called Black Summer?
Yeah, I'll get you the real thing. I think it's called Black Summer. I'm looking right now.
Okay. Well, I'm just compiling a list currently of suggestions, and then we're going to go through and make the schedule up. So,
I mean,
and,
I really like the idea of Hocus Pocus too. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't even think of it. But it's like it's not scary, but it's like a staple Halloween type movie. So I definitely agree with that one.
Yeah. I would then recommend, because I saw this movie in the theaters a couple of years ago, and I don't know if you guys actually did it any years previously, but you ever done a Ouija, The Origin of Evil?
I've not.
About the whole premise behind using a Ouija board and the rules you're supposed to follow with it. It is a horror movie. It will it fits into that category of the you're gonna not want to have the lights off, or if you're gonna go to the bathroom and go back into your dark room like you were saying earlier, you'll end up playing a video game. I would put it in that category. It's not like super scary, but there are like moments that would be great. But it is a good movie. The mom in it is the mom from Twilight. I can't remember the actress's name, but it was the mom vampire in there. Not that everyone's gonna know that, but I'm just saying like that. Like there is at least one large named actress, has done a professional movie in it, and it was in theaters. It was really good.
All right. I'm gonna need a bigger piece of paper. Got all sorts of suggestions. I like this. I will say, like, as far as like to me, it would be on par with things like Hocus Pocus. I do know one movie that I at least I liked when I was a kid. It was one of those Ernest movies, like Ernest Saves Halloween or Ernest whatever. I always liked most of those movies. I just liked that actor and that character. So I yeah.
No, I get it. Then because I'm trying to give you like a good array of options, because this is my like subject. So
now I will say this is usually like if it you could like you didn't have to convince me very hard to watch Hocus Pocus, the original one, mainly because it's a Halloween movie, but it's not scary,
right?
And that's another reason why. Like I know Rob hasn't seen it yet, but I want to sit down and watch the Adam Sandler one on Netflix, the Hoobie Halloween. I watched that a year or two ago when it came out, and I liked that movie. But again, it's one of those movies where it's like it's a Halloween movie, but it's not scary. This is the month if you really want to try to like put the wrench to me. This is the month that like whatever we decide to pick, I have to sit through and watch. So if you want to traumatize me, that's usually what this month is for.
Well, from a traumatization perspective, how about I recommend something from Crypt TV, which is a YouTube. I don't know if they continue to do any YouTube videos, but there is definitely something out there. They're short. You can watch it. They produced a couple like mini-sodes that it was done in the format to basically be able to the look-see. Yeah, hi Devin. A while Devin has appeared. Yeah, exactly like the look-see. Or oh god, what is it? The Sunny Family Cult. Like and legitimately it's 10 minutes of your time to watch the entirety of a season. Because they were built in the format to watch it like on your phone, like while you were traveling somewhere. So it wasn't meant to be a long form movie. So you could probably devote an episode to a couple things from Crypt TV.
Crypt TV, is that what it's called? And that's a YouTube thing?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can look it up.
Crypt TV. That's a YouTube. And that Ouija one that you recommended, that was a movie.
Yes.
And then the Black Summer was a TV series.
Yeah, it is a series on Netflix.
Okay. Yeah, it's the sequel to. Well, I don't know if it's an actual sequel to.
Was it a sequel or a prequel? Because I was thinking I said the same thing and I couldn't remember.
It's the prequel. It's the prequel, but it's that whole series is based from not Daisy. Or is it DayZ?
Right, like one of those, like the 28 days later type days, right? Yeah.
No.
World War Z.
The sci-fi show.
Oh.
Which was a weird sci-fi zombie show. What show was that? So Z Nation. Z Nation was like.
I liked Z Nation.
Yeah, it came out around Walking Dead. It piggybacked on Walking Dead's fame, but it was like wacky, as you know. And then they came out with Z Nation spun off into. Hold on. But the tone was different. I will say that the tone of the Netflix show.
I never finished Z Nation.
Yeah, the Black Summer that came out on Netflix.
Yes.
And the thing about Black Summer is it's a little bit different. It's the prequel, but it's like a different tone than Z Nation. So like, if it's weird because I tell people I was like people who liked
Z Nation.
People like Z Nation and were like, oh hey, the Black Summer's really good. But you also kind of got to be if the thing you liked about Z Nation was the quirkiness of Z Nation, you might not like Black Summer.
Right. Now is
more
Black Summer
like Walking Dead?
I was gonna say, is Black Summer like your not it's unfair to say typical, but is it essentially like just another zombie apocalypse?
It is and it's
type
not.
Show?
It is and it's not. The first season's really I think they do some really cool things with certain characters in the first season. First off, the survivors aren't your typical survivors you would like expect to find, and like one of the characters like can't speak English, and they actually bring that like they address that like that up. That's a real possibility. She's like, I think she's like Korean.
Yeah, the scenario.
She can't speak English, so like she's subtitled when she's talking, but like she doesn't always understand what somebody is saying to her, and they don't understand what she's saying to them. So it's a lot of like physical, like acting out between her and other people.
Right. And there's also a really good, to Devin's point, there's a really good, at least in the first season. I didn't fully watch the second season, though I did. But it was more like off my side monitor. Was that the story? You didn't realize how connected some of the story elements were in the first season until you got further on in the episode, which is really good.
Yeah, like something that would happen in like one episode would be like it would like end a certain way or start a certain way, and then like 4 episodes later, that episode would end a certain way, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's how that got it."
All right, let me ask a question.
It's pretty cool.
This came out after Z Nation.
Yeah, but it's a prequel. It's a spinoff prequel.
Okay, so you don't have to have seen all of Z Nation to be able to watch and appreciate.
Not even remotely, almost any of it, because Z Nation they reference this thing called the Black Summer.
Okay.
Which was the onset of the zombie. Like it was. I think if I remember correctly from the show, the Black Summer was the first summer that the zombie apocalypse started, and it was like I think it was when 50% of the world's population like died that summer or something like that.
All right.
And it was like
all right.
Yeah.
So then,
I remember correctly, the Black Summer. Let me see, Black Summer.
No, yep. I think that's right, but
yeah, I think it's right. It's either 50% or something like that.
And then while Devin's looking that up, I do have 2 more Netflix movie suggestions that fit into the horror comedy category that I don't know if you saw. So I'm going to bring it up. Have you ever seen The Babysitter?
I have. I haven't seen the second one yet.
Then watch the second one. They're so good.
Okay, I liked the first one.
They are pretty funny.
It's like that perfect blend of like this fits into Halloween because it's like what people would call like evil or demonic or all that stuff like put into the October Halloween box, but it's hysterical. So
I booked the color out of space for something to watch.
I watched a movie. I don't remember what it was or the name of it, which is fucked up. So I don't even know why I'm really bringing it up. But it was about these people going to a concert, and then they ended up going to a party afterwards at some house. where the girls started trying to kill them because the girls were practicing some like satanic ritual shit. And then that was just the movie. That was the whole movie. I was just like, what did I just watch? Like, I don't understand what even compelled me to turn it on. But
If you want to talk like horror comedy movie,
well, in case you missed it, Devin,
are we actually recording actually, by the way, or we're
Yes.
brainstorming prayer? This is right now. Recording right now.
I wrote that in the general chat. But
I didn't scroll on that far.
we are compiling essentially we're just compiling a list of possible things for us to do next month for October. And then afterwards, once we have our list of possibilities, whether it be movie, TV, reading short stories from, creepypasta things or whatever, me, you, and Rob will sit down and say, and we'll actually make the schedule of, okay, the first week we'll do this show or that movie and so on and so forth. So right now we're just trying to get a bunch of suggestions of things that we haven't already covered in previous SU SpoOktober episodes.
2 movies I want to recommend.
And these are both on Netflix, you said?
One is on Shudder, but it's easy to get. That's fine. And I have a Shudder subscription anyway, so if I need to, I can put it on Rave and we can watch it there. It's not a big deal. The other one is one I haven't actually even seen yet. I've been wanting to see it for a while. The Banana Splits. I think it's what it's called.
Banana.
Yeah, the Banana Splits movie.
Splits.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
Other one is Color Out of Space.
Colorado Space?
The Color Out of Space.
Oh, Color Out of Space.
The Color Out of Space is unique in the sense that it is a actual, mostly faithful, direct adaptation of an H.P. Lovecraft story into a horror movie. Not a... Like, usually they like H.P. Lovecraft stuff, you have like... It'll influence movies. It'll influence like the tone or influence like the themes of the movie, but you won't get like a direct make of it. Well, this is one where you actually get like a direct, like the movie is the story.
Okay.
So I've seen that one. I've seen The Color Out of Space. It's a good movie. It's a weird movie, but it's a good movie. I haven't seen The Banana Splits, but I mean, it's basically, anyone remember that, like the old show from the 60s, The Banana Splits?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. It's like, let's see if I can find like Banana Splits came out in 68. It came out with 2 seasons back in 68. And you got that's the horror movie version of it. It's kind of similar in the same vein of like a Willy's Wonderland, but minus Nicolas Cage's character.
But Nicolas Cage's character was the best part about Willy's Wonderland.
Possibly.
He didn't have a single line in that movie.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I recommended this movie, but I also recommended The Color Out of Space, which has Nicolas Cage. So,
all right.
I got to get the 1986 Banana Splits. Or 68, not 86.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
While you're looking for that, Rob, you said you had a couple suggestions.
Dark Skies is one that I wanted to suggest because I saw that movie. I think it was like 2012 or something, but I thought it was scary. So
That's a movie.
Yeah, and then I really enjoyed the podcast No Sleep. So I don't remember exactly like which ones are my favorite stories because it's been a while since I've listened to them, but I was going to go through and pick out like a couple because they're short stories that are like acted out by the cast.
Okay.
So I was going to go through and pick a couple to listen to for all of us, but
roughly how long are those like stories?
it depends. Like some of them are only like 2 minutes, some are like 15 minutes.
Okay, so it's not like an hour-long podcast.
No, I mean the podcast is like an hour or so, but it's got many different stories in it.
Okay, so you would want to pick out like, say, a small handful of stories to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I have my blank sheet of paper. I have. I broke it down into sections, so I have anything that Avelos that you want to recommend. If you start thinking of more, I'm putting your recommendations down in a separate area. Same with Devin's and Rob's. Also, Avelos, I know you have things on like Thursday evenings. Um, we usually it's not every week, so I can't promise it, but we do try to now that Devin's off on Thursdays, we try to record SU um, around this time on Thursdays. If that works for you, I'd love to have you uh, on next month on any of the ones. Once we figure out the schedule, if you're interested in one of them, we'll try to work around your schedule, obviously. But I'd love to have you on because, I mean, you and Rob are the two big Halloween people that I know. What the hell is this monstrosity? Okay, I already love that. That's like Terminator puppet dog.
Yeah. Well, it's. I think so. I think how this movie came to be was the Banana Splits was an old like show from the '60s, and like I think they lost like the publishing rights to it or something like that down the road. It only lasted like 2 seasons. So then somebody reimagined it as like took like kind of like 5 Nights at Freddy's kind of deal, reimagined it as a horror movie in 2019.
Okay.
So that's the Banana Splits. Also, because I think the past 2 years in a row we've done the Halloween, the new Halloween movies.
Yes.
And the third one, Halloween Ends, that does come out on the 14th. And if it was like last time, it's going to probably release on Peacock, I believe.
I think it was HBO, but
Yeah,
you're
I
right.
No,
Yeah,
it was Peacock at first, and then it was HBO.
Yeah, hold on. I'm looking it up now because I've seen commercials for it, Devin. You're right. It is definitely going to be released on one of those platforms. I just don't know which one. I'm looking it up.
And do you think that'll be released
No,
before?
That comes out on the 14th of next month.
Yeah, and it hits right here. Halloween Ends in theaters and on Peacock on October 14th.
Yeah, so that comes out on the 14th.
Okay, so we could add that to the list just because that's
like
gonna be the last
day.
one, right?
That could be the last one. That it should be the last one. We don't know how it ends. It says it's
Right.
going to end.
Yeah,
but it's a horror movie.
We could make that one be for like the scheduled to be for like the 28th.
Or we really want to be like overachievers because I do have I'm going to be off some extra days. So
you want to do it as a bonus thing and put it out on the 31st?
I got like right now I'm off today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday.
Technically,
then,
what day is Halloween? Is it the 30th?
Halloween
or 31st?
is the 31st Monday.
31st. So I mean, yeah, technically, if we wanted to be overachievers, we could do that as a separate episode and release that on the 31st.
Oh yeah.
But all right, so that's gonna. What is that one called?
Halloween Ends. And to Devin's point, the director said that it was a pre-ordered like triple kit series like for movies.
It's the end of that, but I mean,
yeah, it's the end of the pre-order.
Money is the all knowing factor.
Oh, true.
Money is the real. Money is the real
Michael Myers
best villain. The best villain in horror movies. If it makes money, there will be more movies. Cue up the trailer for Saw 10.
Exactly right. There is if you want filler content. So it's another Netflix series because I try to go from accessibility. There is a series on Netflix called Haunted that is people's retelling of their haunted experiences, but Netflix acts them out like as a professional actor. Okay. And there's 3 seasons, so you could go through and try to pick which one you like. Okay. There are some that are scarier than others, but they produce it very well. That's a good one. And it also gives you the ability to cherry pick. Like if you only want to do 1 or 2, it's a series, but each one of them is a different haunting, if you will. So
are they hour-long episodes-ish?
I can look really quick. I want to say 40 minutes.
Because I mean, if that's one of the ones that we decide that we want to do too, we could each pick our own individual episodes to watch and talk about them as well.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I know I want to watch Better Watch Out, but we're gonna save that for Christmas because Webby doesn't do Christmas stuff anyway. So we always do like a second horror thing on Christmas.
Well, we
Murder
did the
during
one
the
year we
holidays.
did the Stephen King thing specifically.
Well, yeah, we always go. I love Better Watch Out. It's one of my favorite thriller, air quote, horror movies.
Now, is it a horror Christmas movie kind of thing?
But it takes place on Christmas.
Okay.
Please tell me you
Well,
did
I'll tell you
Black
what. What's that called? Better Watch Out?
Better Watch Out.
Please tell me you did Black Christmas during Christmas.
I don't
No.
think so. The only time we did...
We didn't do it, but I mean, I've seen it. But
I think we only did a Stephen King Christmas.
we did a Stephen King
once.
special one. We watched all like the. Well, I don't know about all. I think we watched a bunch of. We might have watched all the Stephen King stuff. No, we didn't watch all. We watched a bunch of Stephen King. La 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 la.
Okay, because I actually have a couple to add to that weird horror-esque
So
Christmas type thing too. So yeah, this month we'll go ahead and say this year for December we'll also do oddball, crazy ass, fucking
Or
weird
just
Christmas type
themed.
movies.
So Better Watch Out's not like oddball at all. It's actually a really good movie.
Well, I was thinking of like Santa's Sleigh with Bill Goldberg, and
I love that guy's movie.
there's another one that I think I just recently saw a trailer for where it's like,
The Krampus.
no, I don't remember what it is, but it's something like
Well, no, but that's one we could watch.
there's an elf or something that ends up like Santa's a hitman or some shit. I don't remember. I'd have to go find it, but it looked insane.
So I did just look it up, Webby. The one that I saw, like for Haunted, this one episode that comes up because I watched it.
Uh-huh.
It's 20 minutes long.
Okay,
So,
yeah,
like,
so we
they're
could even do
micro
like,
series,
yeah,
yeah.
we could all pick a different episode to watch and then discuss each of those for an SU episode as well.
Yeah, there's
maybe
three
even
seasons. There's 3 seasons, so you have quite a few. I would say when I watched them, I enjoyed a lot from season 1.
2. Okay.
And then I think season 1 and 2 were good for me. Season 3 was all right, but I guess I had an expectation at that point because I watched it when season 1 and 2 were like new to me. So you know what I mean? Like, take it as you will, read them. It gives a description. Each one of them are different. Each one of them are separate, and they're explicit warning, listeners. They include topics such as like cults, demonics, possessions. I thought I was abducted, etc., etc.
Man, okay, so speaking of that, at the beginning of the episode, I talked about some movies that affect me more than others. I don't remember the name of it. Maybe you guys do. There was a movie, it was, I don't know if it was necessarily like one of those based on true events kind of thing, but it was one of those possession type movies. It had something it either had Rose in the name. Yeah, it was like
Exorcism of Emily Rose.
yeah, Emily Rose, that one. Man, I watched that movie, had to shut it off. I couldn't finish that movie. That creeped me out so bad.
I'm unsure if it's officially in what they call the series of the Exorcist movies, but I thought it was because there's like if you watch The Exorcist, there's another exorcism movie afterwards, like The Exorcist Beginnings or
Right.
something. Like I don't know if The Exorcism of Emily Rose falls into that, but it definitely like feels
No. It's I think I'm pretty sure it's a different like movie.
But
Another
it is,
movie like that though, that it's in the same kind of vein. That is, it's like you either can watch it or you like one of the two that can't watch it. But The Autopsy of Jane Doe, I do love that movie. It's a great movie, but it's like it like slowly creeps up on you, and then you just say the while you're just like, oh god, I can't watch it anymore, or like, but then you kind of feel like compelled to finish it. So it's kind of like I'm here for this, but I don't want to be. I like it. I love it.
and then to close out at least some of my recommendations, at least on Netflix, there are 2 series that everyone says are really good, like The Haunting of Hill House,
That's a good series.
The Haunting of Bly Manor. Like that's the second, I guess you would call it second season, but it's not really. But it's like
the second. It's an anthology series, so like every
There you
season is different. So there you go.
Yeah, so those are good too if you want to throw something a little longer in there and give a full synopsis, and people love those. So but they do fall into the vein of, I'm told, like the Exorcism of Emily Rose. You're gonna have moments where you're like, the fuck, and turn off the TV or pause it because it just has that effect on you.
All right, so
The first one, I think, more so than the second one, but yeah, absolutely.
let me ask you a question, Avelos. Of the ones that you recommended so far, minus Hocus Pocus 2, I have written down Black Summer, The Ouija Origin of Evil, some Crypt TV videos on YouTube, and Haunted on Netflix.
Yep.
Of those, if you had to pick one that you would really like to see done, what would you personally pick?
So for me, my obsession would be for you to watch the ones from Crypt TV.
Okay.
Because they are, like, the look-see is one of my favorites, but they like so to give some context without giving away the whole look-see. The look-see is a series that is based entirely without talking. So it's shot, the actors do body and there's sounds and background music and everything, but that's how it's shot. So I feel like it introduces a level of sensory horror that you don't realize because you're so used to people like talking and, oh my god, you're in the house. Where are you at? You come after me, that you don't get that effect afterwards. So that's what I would really like you to see, is to do at least the look-see from Crypt TV. And maybe anything else you find, because there's a bunch of good ones. And additionally, Crypt TV also combines them all together. Like they're interconnected, but it's one of those things where you don't need to watch all of their little mini episodes to have to understand the connection, because the connection is only obvious when they're like it's almost like anthology, but not anthology. Like they're connected in like line only. So that would be my app.
And how long are those the videos on the YouTube thing, generally
They're
speaking?
Like 3 minutes is episode 1 for the look-see.
Jesus.
Like you can get done the entire first season in 10 minutes. And if you include the second season, which is the prequel season to season 1, it's another 10 minutes. So you can be done.
So
in
20. They're real short.
Yeah, that they were meant to be short media.
Okay, so that is something that I could even possibly put in with that. So just looking at the recommendations here, I already feel like I have 4/5 things that we could do for October. And I know this would just be my personal vote, I guess. I know we're going to be discussing afterwards, if we do come up with even more recommendations, or if any listeners end up throwing recommendations at us, we might alter things around. But the 4 that I have written down that I think would be good to go through, and that would make, not saying that all of these aren't good recommendations, but this would give us kind of a wider variety of things throughout the month. Would be Hocus Pocus 2 at wherever that one may fall, because it is a staple and it's going to be new and fresh in people's minds. Obviously, Halloween Ends. We've done the last 2 Halloween movies the last 2 years, so it makes sense that we do this one, whether it be a bonus episode or the last episode of the month before the Halloween stream happens. I'd like to do, possibly, again, this is up for discussion, Rob's idea of the No Sleep podcast, and have him go through and fish out a couple key stories, for us to listen to discuss, and kind of maybe even in that same episode as the podcast one, maybe do a couple of these Crypt TV YouTube videos as well. And then the last one that I have written down that sounded interesting was that haunted show on Netflix, because that would be a TV show. So we essentially have a couple movies, some YouTube videos, a couple podcasts, and then a TV show. Again, not the
What
whole
night?
TV show, but whichever key episodes we wanted to watch. That would be my vote. That way, we're not just like bogged down with. Because I know, like Rob, he doesn't necessarily care to watch movies constantly. So I figured that would be enough variety that it gets broken up a bit.
Yeah. No, however it works, I this is just my thing. So this is the one time a year I can crawl out of my den and be like, "Here's everything you should watch," and then go back in. So however it works, and I hope you enjoy whatever it is.
Avelos crawls out of his den, comes over in front of my hibernation cave with a shovel full of Halloween stuff, and says, "Here, look at it, watch it."
It's your turn. Take the crap. All while holding my pumpkin spice latte. Yes, exactly.
Oh God,
Robin.
apple cider is a clearly superior drink.
Well, I mean,
It is
I
good
do
stuff.
love pumpkin. Like I love pumpkin pie. It's one of my favorite pies. But oh God, I am a sucker for a good apple cider. So
Listen,
We can do a whole SU. We can do a whole SU based on hot or cold apple cider.
Oh boy.
dude. I mean, I like it both ways, but hot. It's gotta be hot apple cider. It's just better. I don't know. Anyway, Rob and Devin, do you have any other recommendations that I can add to this list before? Like I said, we'll wait a couple days as to, after this gets released. This is not something that needs to be set in stone now. We have all of next week, to also discuss this. And I want to give the listeners a chance to chime in, and I'll reach out to some of them and see if they have recommendations as well to add. But is there anything else that you guys would like to add to this list?
I mean, no, I think I gave a couple of good recommendations on my end. Whatever we end up doing, I'm cool with. I don't think I love all things horror, so like, there's no bad options for me.
Yeah, except for that one movie you made us watch.
What?
I don't remember the one that when you were down here, you made us watch.
Oh,
here.
Fuck! What is that movie? It's not a bad movie. Wait, which one? The one that was like equally bad? Not Velocipaster.
No, Velocipaster was great.
That was the one with the like weird town.
The cult movie. Ah, fuck. What is it? It's on Shudder. Hold on. Fucking
Yeah, that and the one where it took place in the hospital a lot.
The hospital.
Oh yeah,
They're
where like
fighting
the walls opened up or whatever, and they had to get out.
It had all the people with like the not the triangle heads.
Okay, no, that's what I was thinking of. What was the other one I made you guys watch?
The other one was that one where the guy was hallucinating or some shit, and he went back to visit a town, and
yeah, and then at the end he went into the movie
That wasn't down here. That wasn't down there. That was up here. That was for SU. We did the that was the Apocalypse trilogy. We did the whole Apocalypse.
Yeah.
But the one that you were up here for was that one where they were in the hospital, and then there was.
Well, we didn't do the whole Apocalypse trilogy.
All
we did
crazy shit happened in the basement of the hospital. And
that was
fucking
that's
weird.
What is that movie?
There was the big gate with the light and stuff. That was just like it was. You said it had something to do with like Cthulhu. Like
it did. Well, it was a what you call it style. It was the same vein.
I will say, if this is real, this is a movie that I'm going to be looking forward to in 2023. I scrolled past it on Facebook. It's probably fake. Who knows? It's called Cocaine Bear. Inspired by true events that took place in Kentucky in 1985, during which a 175-pound black bear ingested 88 pounds of pure cocaine.
I can't with you. Just because it's the word bear.
Hey, you wouldn't watch a movie on a bear high on crack?
No.
Come on. Imagine the antics this bear gets up to.
He can do that without the crack.
I mean, that's true, but him being on cocaine is just that much better.
No, he's probably going to end up dying.
Well, that would be sad.
I mean, it was okay to laugh at him when he's in pain, but not during the real. We see the connection here.
It's a movie.
I know. And I
It
thought
says
the
it's based on
movie-
true events, but still.
Yeah, okay. And the movie I thought you guys were talking about was Nothing Left to Fear, which I also loved, but it's an old movie.
I mean, both of these I think were old movies that Devin had us watch, but
Yeah, this one was about. Yeah, I mean, it's another horror movie that I would recommend people to look into. And the only reason it got any popularity in the real world was because there was an association with the Guns N' Roses band member Slash, because it was produced by his company. It was like
Gotcha.
the first film they produced. So,
Gotcha. Rob, did you have any other recommendations or?
Nope.
Okay. Well, with that, I think we'll end there. We're just over the 45-minute mark. And I knew that this was going to be a slightly shorter episode this week because we're just brainstorming stuff for next month, essentially. But we'll give it about a week before we actually finalize any type of schedule for October to give the listeners time to reach out and give us recommendations on spooky stuff to consume during the month of October.
Ecto Cooler. Spooky
God,
stuff to consume.
I wish they still made. Do they still make those? I don't think they do.
No, they don't.
what? Don't they?
No, I
No.
don't think so. Unless they're like a special release during an October kind of thing.
Yeah, they did a special release during the last what you call it movie, Ghostbusters, but then
Ghostbusters.
it's gone again.
Yeah.
What was that? What were they called? What was the brand called?
Ecto Cooler. It was
Yeah.
from High C.
Yeah, High C Ecto Cooler. It was
I'm just-
green like Slimer.
Yeah, I remember it. I loved it. I'm just
So-
trying to see where it says.
So with
Oh.
that, Rob, do you have I know you gotta let Tilly out here. She's jumping at the door.
Yeah, I know. You've been bugging me for like the last 20 minutes.
Do you have a science corner for this week?
I do.
Okay.
So, scientists have learned that zapping plastic bottles with lasers creates tiny little diamonds. So, yeah. So if they just like a regular plastic water bottle, they zapped it with a laser and found that it created a bunch of tiny little micro diamonds, which can be used in like things like quantum devices or like little watches and stuff like that. Because they're like nano sized. They're like itty bitty. Like you can't even see them with naked eye, I don't think. But they're actual diamonds, but they're like microscopic. But they can be used in like computer chips and shit like that. And they said that the conditions in which they created the diamonds happen naturally on both Uranus and Neptune. So it might rain tiny diamonds on both those planets.
Well,
There you go.
okay.
Was a whole lot of science all in one 10-second clip. Not really.
Well, all right. I'm not gonna argue science, I guess, unless it involves giant space ice giants. Then I'll argue. Devin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have life advice this week? As we
Life
sign
advice
off?
this week. I don't actually have life advice, but I can get
Tilly.
life advice. Tilly
There's
interrupts
life
me.
advice. Don't let the dog jump at the door.
Yeah, good life advice.
That's my life advice.
That's good life advice. Yeah, I kind of like hopped in, like not fully prepared. That's like me. It's been a rough week, people. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's been a rough week. Life advice. Life ain't been really great right now. But I still. There you go. Boom. Life is a mountain. Your goal is to find your path, not reach the top. There you go. And don't forget to pull one out for the homies when you reach when you reach your destination.
Okay.
Boom.
Find your path. Don't reach the top.
No, don't. You're gonna find your goal is to find your path. Your goal is not to reach the top. That's the thing.
Right. So find your path and don't reach the top.
No, your path might lead you to the top, but if you keep searching for the top, the fastest way to get to the top, you're gonna cause yourself more problems along the way.
Okay. It might be more
You
difficult.
search for your path, more difficult, or you're finding your own path might be more difficult, but once you're there, it's going to be that path's going to be a lot easier for you because it's your path. It's going to feel natural.
I can already tell you my path does not lead to the top of the mountain. It leads off the mountain.
I was going to say underground.
Yeah. Maybe it'll go through the mountain.
That's my life advice.
All right. I like it.
Find
your path, people.
Find your path. That's it.
It's not about the destination. It's about the travel and the way you get there.
Yes.
Insert random country song here that explains what Devin just said.
That's right.
I didn't hear any of it, but listen, if everybody reached for the stars, there'd be nobody here on Earth.
Good. More people should reach for the stars. Get the fuck off this planet.
I was about to say, who's going to say it? I was taking bets. It was going to be me.
All right. Well, that's where we're going to wrap up this week. So where can people find you on the internet? Avelos.
I gave this wrong the last time I was here because I remember I changed my Twitter handle, but I am on Twitter at xabelos. I don't really do much on there. I retweet some stuff, cause some controversy, like a few posts. Stop on by if you want.
All right. Devin, where can people find you on the internet? Nowhere.
You can't.
You're not allowed. Denied.
Rob, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Confessor_X and on Twitch at twitch.tv/ConfessorX. Playing Overwatch on Wednesdays until it's gone forever. Got like one more week.
Yep. See ya. Let's check back in with Devin one more time. Where can people find you on the internet?
Oh my god, Webby, you can find me at... I'm just kidding. Anyway.
You can follow him on most social media at Mr. D3. I think that might be his Twitch. What's his Twitter?
You can find me on Twitter at DMP_Poof. You can find me on Twitch as Mr. D3, and as always, you can find me on eBay looking for a lonely soul.
Okay.
All right.
The trade.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. You guys can follow me on Twitter at JaxForestWalker, all one word, on Twitch at DMWebby, and on eBay at Poking Devin Until He Talks. We love you guys. Thank you for listening, and fuck Booster Gold.
Fuck Booster Gold.
And the outro.
Finally saw a thing about Booster Gold the other day, like without being prompted. I was like, oh, this is who we're. I mean, now that I didn't look it up, I'm like, he does exist. So
You're like, oh, this mother trucker. Down, down,
Sorry.
down, 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 down.
I'm Burber.